Hello and welcome to my channel of Passionate PT. Today we're going to discuss about brown square syndrome. So before starting this video, I'll strongly recommend you people to watch the video of ascending tracts of DCML and anterolateral spinothalamic tract, because that video is very much related to this one. If you'll watch that video, this will be much more easier for you people to understand. Okay, so let's start brown square syndrome. So first of all, what is brown square syndrome? Brown square syndrome is, in other words, a syndrome that describes a collective signs and symptoms that results from the injury of the spinal cord on one side. In short, it is called, or it is known as, the hemisection of the spinal cord. That means that one side, either left or right, any side of the spinal cord will get affected. Okay, so that can be by a injury with any sharp object, or by a bullet injury, gunshot injury, or any object or any accident or incident that has mainly affected one side of the spinal cord. Okay, so here I have made again the very I've drawn a random figure to make you people understand about the brown square syndrome. In this, we'll consider, I have written the left side and here the right side. In this, we'll consider left side being the side of the injury, or being the side which has got affected by the any gunshot or bullet injury. Okay, so let's consider that the injury is at the level of C7. Okay, injury is at the level of C7. These blue arrows I have, they show the DCML tracts. These big dotted arrows, big one, they are showing the anterolateral spinothalamic tract. This one is showing the corticospinal tracts, and they are the levels of the spinal cord. Okay, so let's consider that if C6 has got affected, this is the level on the left side of spinal cord which has got injured by a gunshot or bullet injury. Okay, now, okay, fine, this is the level which has got affected. Now we will talk about the resulting signs and symptoms in sense of this level. For example, at the C7 you can see these blue arrows, these big dotted arrows, they both are entering at this level. So as this level has got injured, so blue arrow showing the DCML tracts will get affected. So DCML tracts will get injured at this level. Number one. Number two, the big dotted arrow that is showing the anterolateral spinothalamic tract will also get injured at the level of lesion on left side. Okay. Third, the corticospinal tracts, which will be coming here. I have drawn the corticospinal tract midway, but it will also come here to this level C7. They will also get affected, they will also get injured. Now, injury to these tracts will result in the loss of all the senses which are conducted by these tracts. For example, loss of DCML tract on the same side of the lesion, at the level of the lesion, will result in the loss of proprioception, vibratory sense, light touch, these three sensations being considered mainly lost. Other sensations will also be affected that are carried by DCML tracts. Second is the loss of anterolateral spinothalamic tract. These tracts carry sense of pain and temperature. So on the same side, at the level of lesion, there will be loss of sense of pain and temperature. third, corticospinal tracts coming to this level, they will also be injured, so there will be paralysis on the same side of the lesion, at the level of the lesion. Okay, so this is what will happen at the level. For example, in this case we have C7 at the level of lesion on the same side of the level of the injury. Okay, so on the same side at the level of injury, DCML will get affected and anterolateral spinothalamic tract will get affected. I have not mentioned corticospinal tracts, but they will also be affected. Now on the same side, now at the same level on the opposite side of the lesion, like on the opposite side there will be C7 also. Okay, so on the at the same level on the opposite side of the lesion, what will happen? DCML tracts, they will be coming and traveling straight upwards. They will not be affected because this is hemisection. Only one side of the spinal cord is affected. Left side is affected, right is not. So DCML will enter and travel straightway upward. So DCML tracts will be unaffected. Okay, at the same level on the opposite side of the lesion. For example, C7 on the at the level of C7 on the right side, the DCML will be unaffected, and similarly the anterolateral spinothalamic tract, they will also be unaffected. There's a lot of mess created here, but this is how it is. Okay, so on the same side, on the same level, opposite side of the lesion, DCML will be unaffected, anterolateral spinothalamic tract will be unaffected, and similarly corticospinal tracts, they will also be unaffected. This is what we're talking at the level of lesion on the same side of the injury and on the opposite side of the injury. Now let's talk about that what will happen above and below the level injury. First, let's talk about what will happen below the level of lesion on the same side and on the opposite side. Now, below the level, this is C7 is the level of injury. Below the level of injury, all the DCML tracts will be affected because when they enter at their levels from the outside, they have to ascend to the above levels to go towards the brain. Okay, here I'll again say that please watch the video of ascending tracts. In that video I've explained completely that how DCML anterolateral spinothalamic tract they travel. Okay, now because DCML tract they enter and they pass through above levels to reach towards the brain, so all the DCML tract that are located below the level of injury will get affected, because when they will enter on their side and when they'll try to ascend towards the brain, and when all the tracts will try to pass through the C7, they will not be able to pass and they'll be blocked here, and their sensations will also not be transmitted, so all the tracts located below C7 will get affected. This is what will happen to DCML tracts below the level of lesion on the same side, on the left side. Okay, now what will happen to anterolateral spinothalamic tract? They will be unaffected because they will enter on the side. For example, both the tracts which I've shown, they will enter on the side. For example, if this is for T3, this is what is anterolateral spinothalamic tract. It will enter, it will ascend 2 to 3 levels, and then it will cross and it will travel upward. So anterolateral spinothalamic tract below the level of lesion will get unaffected, but this will happen 1 to 2 levels below the level of lesion. For example, you can see the anterolateral spinothalamic tract for T1 will be affected because it has to ascend on the same side before crossing to opposite side. So at the level of T1, anterolateral spinothalamic tract will get affected. Similarly, anterolateral spinothalamic tract of C8 will also get affected because they have to ascend through C7 before crossing to opposite sides. So for C8 T1, or in some cases maybe T2, they will get affected, but all the anterolateral spinothalamic tract located below 1 to 2 levels will not get affected, as they will ascend 2 to 3 levels and then cross on the opposite side of spinal cord and travel upwards. Okay, this will happen below the level of injury on the same side of the lesion. Now what will happen on the opposite side of the injury below the level of the lesion? On the opposite side, again DCML will be unaffected. Okay, because DCML simply enters and travel upwards. They don't need to cross anyway in the spinal cord. But anterolateral spinothalamic tract will be on the opposite side, will be affected 2 to 3 levels below the level of lesion. For example, here, or you can say here, they enter, okay, they have to ascend, then they have to cross at the level of C7, and then they can go upward. Okay, so on the opposite side, 2 to 3 levels below the level of lesion, anterolateral spinothalamic tract will be affected, and there will be loss of sense of pain and temperature. Okay, this will happen. Then now what will happen above the C7? Above the C7, everything will be good on the same side and on the opposite side of the lesion, because nobody needs to cross or pass through C7 above the level of lesion. DCML will be fine, anterolateral spinothalamic tracts will be fine. So this is all about the Brown squared syndrome. Hope you understand. This is complicated, but if you listen to it again and again, it will be helpful. Thank you so much.